Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's 1 million by 1 million strategy roundtable for entrepreneurs. 1M by 1M, as you know, is the first and only global virtual accelerator for technology startups. Our mission is to help 1 million entrepreneurs reach $1 million and beyond in annual revenue. In support of that mission, we've been doing these free mentoring sessions year after year since 2008. This is the 672nd roundtable, free roundtable. We also have roundtables in the premium program on a weekly basis, sometimes multiple times. This is a safe working session. Please don't be nervous, defensive. We are on your side, and the only agenda here is to help you accelerate your journey, remove your roadblocks, and so on. If you disagree with my feedback, that's fine. It's your venture. You do what you want. Listen to the feedback, consider the feedback, then it's really up to you what you do with it. Let's start with Anirudh Sharma from Gurgaon, India. Anirudh, please unmute your line and let's get started.
Hi, everyone. I know a little about only a little about what's gonna happen here, and I'll consider myself lucky as I'm going first. Although it would have been nicer if I could have seen the process, but as you just mentioned, this is going to be a safe session.
Yeah.
I'll be honest and candid in terms of pitching. So I'll quickly get started. So before I talk about MyEra, I'll quickly brief a bit about what I've been doing here in India. So I'm a mechanical engineer by education, and I've been pretty passionate about building things since my childhood. And here in India, engineering usually doesn't always come with a choice of the person doing it. There's a lot of pressure, and sometimes from family and sometimes from other environmental factors. But luckily, I was the one who actually chose engineering because I wanted to build things. And so my journey started in 2016 while I was at Shiv Nadar University as a final year student pursuing mechanical engineering. I had built vehicles and a few other projects I was involved in, like Hyperloop. Pod competition by SpaceX. So all these things I was doing, but then suddenly the startup wave was coming up here in India. I also got excited and jumped onto building a venture. And so MyEra is basically my second venture. I'm a second time entrepreneur. And before this, I launched a startup called QuarkMe, which was a marketing services venture, and it was a bootstrapped venture. Just before the COVID hit the world, we crossed break even also, and we were working with a leading Indian startup, Swiggy, if you might have heard of it. So we scaled with them. They were blitzscaling. We were lucky enough to be a part of them. I mean, as an agency partner. So learned the basics from there, and then when lockdown happened, we had to switch from whatever we were doing to MyEra. So we gathered our lessons from there and decided to launch MyEra. So MyEra, as on date, is a suite of applications to simplify commerce, which was originally designed to simplify marketing, but then we found API use cases of what we were building in commerce. So the flagship product has been the MyEra customizer. Let's talk about things in a little detail. So we found out these problems while working with brands at the previous venture also, that a lot of these brands wanted to enhance user experience. And in India, we started seeing this wave of people trying to offer customization in terms of unique experiences in terms of buying. So while we were building a design engine for marketing, we got in touch with a brand that wanted to sell customizable watches. So that was our cue to focus towards the customization. So customizer, could you please move to the next slide? Yeah, and the next slide. Yeah. So the MyEra Customizer has been the flagship product. MyEra Customizer is a plugin that integrates with online stores like Shopify-based stores, and it offers customize visualization and customization capabilities. So as a user, if I am ordering something online and if the seller has integrated MyEra, I can actually visualize how the personalized product would look like while it's being shipped. If you could move to the next slide, I'll maybe use some examples. Yeah. So one of the leading online bakeries here in India, it's called Bakingo. They leverage MyEra's technology. This use case is a very special use case because we'll be talking about a few possibilities in the future around this venture. So Bakingo has over they've taken around 1,000 licenses from MyEra, and over 700 cakes are already live. So they have a lot of SKUs around there. So people can upload their own photo, type in text, and personalize the cake. And that particular cake is not just being visualized in real time, but but once you click on save, the final preview is sent to the fulfillment center directly. So they've actually skipped the step of the designer actually designing it again for the user for fulfillment. So they've actually increased their efficiency by skipping the part wherein their operations team used to get involved. So this is one of the very important use cases that we'll be talking about. And then there are other use cases around watch customization, as I mentioned. Then there are hamper customizations and things like that. So we are going a little deeper every day into this domain, while there have been other use cases in the vicinity like apparel-based personalization or lookbooks, virtual try-ons, and things like that.
Mhm.
Let's move to the next slide, please. All right. As you might have understood, we are trying to be Google Workspace of commerce plugins, and as we proceed, we have already started leveraging one module while offering the second module. So we are trying to create an ecosystem, and while we try to scale up, we are always open to possibilities of getting acquired, or maybe getting in terms of strategic partnerships with people like HCL Tech or other people. Let's move to the next slide, please. Thank you. This is how we've been engaging with brands. Actually, this slide is a little old. We have added more players to the client section. I'll just give you a brief as to what all domains we have touched. So watch I have mentioned, apparel also we have done. Box packaging company is a packaging company, so there's a completely different direction. Bakingo is desserts. Ogao is plant-based brand here in India. Outro is a fashion outlet. And then there are gifting companies and customizable footwear and all sorts of companies who have been in the vicinity of customization and personalization. Let's move to the next slide, please. All right, some facts or some more like testimonials over here. Let's skip this for now. Again, testimonials. Let's move ahead. All right, so I'll quickly talk about the structure of the pricing structure at MyEra. So like most SaaS companies, we do have one-time setup cost, and then there's a monthly recurring subscription fee. While we are setting these things up for brands, we do offer all sorts of customization to the look and feel, and up to the overall user experience. So we sometimes change the journeys also for these people, and if it is a complex process, we charge them accordingly. So this is a one-time process, and then there's a monthly subscription bit wherein it's against the software as well as the priority support that we offer to these people. So we essentially become their extended technological arms. Let's move ahead. So I'll quickly talk about the competitive landscape. There are a lot of other plugins that you might have heard of in terms of looking at Shopify plugins. But MyEra, being a pure tech company, and since we are doing B2B SaaS, we have always offered a higher level of customization possibilities in terms of the software capabilities. So we've added a lot of features on demand, and it usually is more reliable than the plugins that are available out there. Plus, at the same time, we have kept the technology very simple. we leverage normal 2D images instead of 3D modeling and other complex technologies so that deployment is faster and at the same time operational costs are minimal. So these are some of the highlights. Let's move to the next slide. I think I've covered these. Let's skip this. All right. In terms of market size, we're not just looking at Indian market, we are looking at the global landscape. I am not really comfortable with these numbers, but I'll give you a sense of how I like to
Or
look at it.
anything. Let me just give you a quick feedback here. And this is feedback for all of you. Every single roundtable session, I give this feedback. You need to do bottom-up TAM analysis. This top-down 30,000 foot level TAM is irrelevant. No one cares. You shouldn't care either. So go figure out how to do bottom-up TAM analysis. We have that in the curriculum, how to do it, and do that. So this is not your TAM. 4.259 trillion is not your TAM.
Okay,
So let's keep going.
thank you. All right. I think we can skip this slide. Um, this is again a little old. Let's talk about what we're doing today. So since we've been working with certain brands for over a year now, we have understood how MyEra is actually helping these people out, and there have been certain use cases wherein we feel that we have become a very integral part of their overall value addition chain. So we feel in terms of the roadmap, we are looking at certain onboardings. Number one to begin with. So there's another dessert brand, a premium one here in India that has agreed to work with us, and we are working towards onboarding them. That's the immediate milestone that we're looking at. And at the same time, with them only, we are diversifying and we are looking at offline outlets for customization use cases. So we are working with a kiosk partner, and we'll be offering these hardware solutions as well. We won't be getting involved in the hardware bit, but we'll be stitching these solutions to offer offline use cases as well. And at the same time, we are,
Anirudh, let me
yeah,
ask you some questions.
yeah, please go ahead.
What is your current MRR?
Sure. So we are doing around 12 in terms of numbers. I'm sure we're not doing great, but it's
No,
around INR.
you're at an early stage, so it's fine. Just tell me where are you?
Sure, it's around INR 1 to 1.5 lakhs a month, which boils down to I think $1,200.
From 10 clients, $1,200. I thought you have $300 per month, um, and you have 10 clients.
Um, yes, so there are varying ticket sizes for these people. The ones that we onboarded initially had smaller use cases, but now what we've added is giving us around one third of this amount per month. And we and with the newer use cases that I talked about, they'll be paying us more than twice of what I've just mentioned.
And you're talking about Shopify, WooCommerce, etc. So are you on the Shopify App Store?
We're not there yet, but we are compatible with Shopify. We've already offered the solution to people who are using Shopify, and we are actively working on launching the Shopify bit. We are yet to submit it for review, but that is also one of the milestones, the upcoming milestones we're looking at.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, talking in terms of fundraise, the market overall changed a lot for people here in India and globally, I'm sure. So we had raised some money previously. I'll give you approximate number also. Yeah, so we've raised around $82,000 till date, and these are from government agencies and some angel investors here in India itself. So we are funded under the Startup India seed fund program and under the Rajasthan state government policy and the state government startup policy and a few other people. And but we were running out of runway in 2023, and our runway was supposed to end by December 2023. But then we switched gears and we realized that a lot of things are changing and we were not able to raise funds. So throughout 2024, we almost switched back to bootstrapping and cut down on all costs and tried to sustain. So that is why we didn't do exponential growth or exponential burning at the same time. But now today, at this stage, now that we've onboarded these people, we feel we are at a stable stage if we are able to control our burn. And at the same time, we're looking at some strategic tie-ups, like maybe getting acquired by one of our largest clients. So that is something that I would want to discuss just after completion of these slides.
So my first impression here is that I can't even tell whether your company is fundable or not, because I don't see a bottom-up TAM analysis. So for any investor to decide whether your company is fundable or not, you need to provide a proper, thorough, defensible model of bottom-up TAM. So that's your number one homework. You need to create that, and we have to assess whether you can defend that storyline. I think Shopify store would probably be one of your biggest distribution channels. So you need a repeatable distribution channel for investors to feel comfortable that this thing is going to grow at an exponential pace. See, investors, the kind of investors that you are looking for, and this applies to all of you, VCs and angels and pre-seed VCs, everybody who feeds into the VC mode of fundraising, are looking to go from $0 to $100 million in 5 to 7 years. And if you don't meet that velocity requirement, then you're not considered to be a fundable company. So whatever story you tell has to have that feeling of repeatability and velocity in that story. Your story, the way you've presented it right now, does not have that. I can't tell that this is going to grow really fast. So this needs work, and we need to figure out a go-to-market strategy that does convert and that converts at a certain pace for this to be fundable. So now, do you have an acquisition offer? Are you saying that you have an acquisition offer?
No, we do not, but I've been looking at it very closely, and I feel this is something that is brewing. I'll explain why and how. So Flarora and Bakingo are two sister concerns. These are independent entities, but they are essentially the same founders and the same office also, for that matter. And these two businesses, Flarora is among the top four gifting companies here in India after IGP and Ferns and Petals. And Bakingo is also very aggressively growing company. And these people are they've completely switched their customization game, and they've completely leveraged MyEra as their technology, in terms of personalization bit. And they've also changed their operational processes around it. I mean, they've included it in that. So today it has become so crucial. This Valentine's week also has been their peak season, and they've been, I'm getting calls that please be sure that this should work properly, and we are also observing it. You should also observe it. So we've been getting this feeling with increasing number of products going live, and as I mentioned, we have crossed 700 products, and they are very actively adding more products. So I'm hopeful that we'll cross 1500 soon. So with this amount of this volume, we can always initiate talks, and this is something that I've planned. That's the primary thing that I've thought of. Secondly, I'm also thinking of initiating, if I get some guidance around that. We Instead of talking about acquisition, we can also try to structure a fundraise around these people, wherein the next brand that is coming up, it's called Smooth Chocolates, and it's also growing rapidly in Bangalore, and they're launching kiosks on airports, and they have these physical outlets out there, lounges and stuff. So we can also structure around wherein we can get investments from these people to begin with. And our existing investors, we found a circle, they have told us previously also, if there's someone else willing to initiate the round or lead the round, they'll be happy to participate in that as well. So these are some of the venues that I'm looking at.
So if you go the exit route, see, these people are going to, if they decide to acquire your company, the valuation is not going to be very high because they're acquiring a vendor. It's not like it's a cost center, it's not a profit center. What you're doing is going to be a cost center. They're going to acquire you to kind of preserve some competitive advantage within their business. They will not, for example, you're saying there are 4 companies like them that are competitive. If you are independent, you want to sell to all 4 of those. You want all of them as your clients and you want them, you know, you want repeatability in that segment. That's not what they're going to let you do. So for them, you're a cost center. As a result, valuation is going to be fairly low, which may be okay if you're trying to just get out of this business by getting an acquisition. They're going to lock you in because somebody's going to have to help them do all this stuff. So you are going to be locked in for some number of years.
Right.
Now, if you can get them to invest in your company, them and other customers to invest in their companies, that gives you the opportunity to build this company, develop the Shopify integrations, and offer yourself on the Shopify store and create repeatability and velocity and all of those things that are parts of growing a larger business. They will not lead the round, though. These kinds of companies do not lead rounds. Somebody will have to lead the round who's going to price the round, and then they can invest as follows. So finding a lead is going to require that you have a much better validated business with a story that is more is defensible, that this is going to be a venture scale company. So that story you have to build. We can help you build that story, but you have to build that story. Okay.
Got it. Makes a lot of sense.
All right. I'll take more questions from you if you want. Just think about things and let me do the other presentations, and then I'll take more of your questions.
Sure. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Vijay, you are up next. Please unmute your line.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, everyone. Oh, it's fairly dark in here. I don't know. Hi. So, good afternoon, everyone. Here's Vijay. So, founder of the Vizhil Super App. So, let me give a very short intro of myself. So, originally from India, so moved to Europe to do my master's in aeronautical engineering, and got settled here in Germany for the last 16 years. And recently we came across a lot of ideas. And since just before COVID, we had this idea of launching a super app. So what the super app is, Shraman, next slide, please. So it's trying to bring all your common man's daily needs into one single app. So starting from their online needs, food and grocery delivers, rides hailing, bookings of household services, let's say hotels booking, travel booking, and so on. So whatever a common man would need on a daily basis, right now we have a lot of fragmented solutions. So we have individual platforms for all of these who are world leaders. So like Amazon, Ola, or Uber, Swiggy, Zomato in India, Airbnb for the bookings and so on. So we were envisioning, what if one product which can be doing the same things but in one single place, rather than having like 20 different apps on your phone, or to go through signing up every different place and so on. So this is the basic idea of what this Vizhil Super App is going to be, bringing most digital convenience for a common man on his daily needs, his or her daily needs. Next slide, please. So there are various reasons why we wanted to do this. First thing is, there is an overall disappointment from the existing platforms because of this high commissions which are being charged on the vendors, partners who are actually doing the job, and the customers, end customers, are also directly or indirectly paying for these high commissions. And the other thing is, they have to be looking for other options. So they have to compare between different apps to find out which is the best price and bringing out the best out of them. And this is also bringing a lot of added loss of added value. So by meaning, when there is a benefit, let's say a gift card out of Amazon, it is not able to be used on any other daily needs, like to use it on a ride hailing or to book a food or order a food or order some groceries delivered and so on. And in order to do this, we thought of coming up with this idea. So it will be like a combination or like an integrated platform for all of these requirements. And the advantages, how we are going to do this is, yeah, using the app store. So we have developed an app of ourselves. It's called Vizhil. So it is already available in the Android stores and Play stores. We are, maybe before that, I'll also add a little bit. So we have not yet launched in India. So our initial phase is launching in April 2025 in a tier 2 city in South India called Coimbatore. We are doing a test run there for 1.5 months. So 45 days of test run. So we are yet to launch. We are in the pre-launch phase. Then the proposition, what we are offering here is as well, this product could give a really good stickiness factor for all of the consumers and the vendors. It helps also build a kind of a sense of community. So there will be different types of vendors and different types of consumers interacting in one single place. So this could be the biggest advantage of being part of such a platform. And yeah, these are some quick wins. So we have added a pretty good number of e-commerce vendors, drivers, and some restaurants in the last couple of months. And it has pretty good traction from what we have approached so far. Next
So
slide,
what
please.
are you trying to do? Are you trying to compete with Zomato and Ola and
Yes. So we are going to compete with Amazon, Swiggy, Zomato, Ola, Uber, Airbnb.
I think it's a very bad idea, Vijay. Very,
Okay.
very super bad idea.
Mm-hmm.
Customer acquisition is incredibly expensive. Building any of those businesses is incredibly expensive. So now you're trying to compete with everybody and their mother, and this is just going to be an incredibly capital intensive project, and you will not be able to raise the capital. I'm absolutely certain you will not be able to raise the capital for this. So I would abandon this idea and do something else that is worthwhile.
Perfect. I'll take that as a feedback. Do you want me to continue or no?
No, this is not going to work. This is not going to work at all.
Okay.
So, but I'm sure you're extremely talented. So come up with something that is more realistic, more practical.
Mm-hmm.
And if you hang on, I'm going to give you some tips on how to.
Yes, please. I'm not here to raise money. I'm actually here for the mentorship, like you mentioned at the beginning. So maybe let's continue this discussion. So maybe for the next 5 to 10 minutes, if you don't mind, if it is okay for you.
Just a second. Let me. What I'm going to tell you is stuff that you can do using the 1M1M platform on ideation. I think, which is what I suggest you do. You learn how to build a business, and then kind of go through the process, and I will take you through what that process is from our point of view. We have, extremely structured curriculum, and I'm pretty sure that if you go through that curriculum and then ideate with that methodology and pedagogy under your belt, you will come up with ideas that have much more viability.
I really appreciate that. I'll do that one. Yes, I'll go look into that one. But coming back to your point about this customer acquisition is going to be extremely expensive. Yes, I do agree with that. But when you take it individually, so yes, when you're going to focus only for a customer on an e-commerce alone, or rides hailing alone, or food and grocery deliveries, when you take them individually, it's going to be expensive. I fully agree with that. And that is exactly the point what we are trying to break here.
It's going to be even more expensive to try to do it as a super app.
Why? Why would that be? I mean, just to understand from where you're coming from.
Nobody's looking for a super app. People are looking for ride-hailing apps. People are looking for e-commerce. People are looking for, Swiggy kind of things. People are not looking for a super app. Unknown super app. Nobody's looking for it. You acquire customers cheaply when people are looking for you. If nobody is looking for you, customer acquisition is extremely expensive.
Okay.
So.
Valid.
All right. Is Max here? I think he's in the room.
Thank you for your time, Shraman.
Vijay, hang on. We'll talk more. I'm
Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be there for sure.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
going to
very
give you
curious to talk to you as well.
more tips as we talk about how to use 1 million by 1 million. I'll give you very specific action items, and I think you will find that useful. Let me just go through Max's presentation, and then we will, for all of you, I will do more of, ideation and methodology and kind of discussions. Max, please go ahead.
Hi. I tried to hack this app. I thought that it's my issue that the camera is not accessible. And now I see you unlocked me. Yeah, that's okay. So good morning, right? Because I'm in Shanghai. It's late at night here.
Oh,
so
you are in Shanghai. It
yeah,
says California, but I thought you were from China. So yes, okay, go ahead.
yeah. So my name is Max. I'm co-founder of Justee.ai. We're building legal AI for HR documents for employment and HR documents compliance for in-house teams and legal firms, also for HR professionals and small, medium enterprises. Next slide, please. Yeah, the problem here is very simple. In the United States, there are 200 plus laws on the federal level, plus regulations and state laws that regulate labor and employment. And literally, every single document becomes non-compliant within 1 year if you don't update it. And as a result, litigation is very costly issue for companies, and on average, it costs 2.3 million per company for the HR related litigations. And on the next slide, you'll see the statistics that shows that actually in 2022, employment and labor litigations were number one by, employment and labor were number one by the popularity among the reasons for litigation, and it's number two in 2023. And if you think of it, there are 130 million employed people, employees in the United States, and every employee signs around a dozen of documents every year, which needs to be in compliance. So next slide, please. So what we've built, it's just a simple one-click application where any HR document may be checked for the compliance to federal and state laws, which takes only 1 minute, and an average price of one compliance check is less than $1. Next, please. So why now? It's pretty obvious. Technologically, we are ready to build solutions like this. Attorneys are ready to use the solutions, and they already use general solutions like Gen AI tools. Sometimes they use specialized solutions for contract analysis. So basically, they are ready to use the tools, but there is no particular leader in employment and HR compliance. And still 65% of companies face litigation in employment and labor area within a few years of their life. Pretty much every large company has lots of litigations related to labor and employment. Next slide, please. So we are targeting a market evaluated as 2.5 billion. We used bottom-up evaluation. We're targeting firms with 25 to 500 employees and employment law firms. In the United States, there are around 130,000 employment law lawyers. And we aim to have 20,000 active users within 5 years and $50 million in revenue in 5 years. CAGR of the market, I took the 13% growth. Some people and some research show that maybe like 45%, but I don't believe it's true, because if we'll calculate this at this pace, then we'll get just unrealistic numbers. So I took the minimum.
This is not how you calculate. This is not how you calculate TAM. I recommend that you go through the TAM module in the curriculum and learn how to do bottom-up TAM analysis. You haven't talked about business model or pricing model, but you're jumping to TAM. Bottom-up TAM is derived from business model and pricing model. What is your business model? What is your pricing model?
Yeah, it'll appear a little bit later in presentation.
So it shouldn't appear later in the presentation. It should appear before TAM, because TAM is derived from those. So let's do the business model first.
All right, so it's quite simple. Business model is B2B SaaS with an average subscription fee of around $200 per month per user. And that is how we calculated the TAM. Shall we get back?
Who is buying this product in the, let's say in the enterprise? Who is buying when you say you have HR and legal teams?
Right, that's true. That's the teams we are targeting.
Because if you have a large team of people who are processing this stuff by hand, and you're saying that I'm going to come in and replace all these people, who are you selling that message to?
Right, we are not replacing. It's not possible. So how it works in reality? For example, I'll give you an example. When I had a talk with an employment attorney with 35 years of experience so he basically knows it all. It sounds like he should know it all, but he told me directly that the issue here is that laws are changing so quickly and regulations are changing so quickly, and there are so many regulations that he just spends so much time on legal research that he would rather pay $2,000 per month if someone would do the work for him. Because what the system does, you upload all the documents you have to the system, and system checks it regularly. And if the system gets the signal that the regulation or a law was changed, then we initiate new, check of all of the documents. So if a document become non-compliant, then the lawyer will get the signal about it, and then he will also get a simple solution when he can replace non-compliant clauses with compliant ones if he approves it. But still, according to the law, software cannot be a lawyer, right? Lawyer is someone who has a license or a diploma, who has a position in a firm, who makes decision. So we are just a tool they may use to save time on legal research.
Yes, but Max, the workflow that you're describing, if there is a team of, let's say, if it's a large company, there's a team of 50 lawyers doing this work, and it takes a lot of their time to do this research, and you are providing software that is going to make the things vastly more efficient. And this is true about a lot of the legal tech solutions out there. Law is a field that is forecasted to be heavily impacted by AI. So you will obviously not need 50 lawyers doing this. You're going to need a lot fewer lawyers. So your ultimate value proposition is vastly reducing the team size in this use case.
Speaking about enterprises, that's true. But if we think of enterprises, that's exactly the case. We also, except for lawyers, there are legal assistants or paralegals. They are probably the ones who will be replaced by the software.
So whether it's in law firms where you're replacing a bunch of paralegals and legal assistants, or legal teams inside enterprises, and maybe in SMEs, the number of legal teams is small, and typically a 20-person SME is not going to have a lawyer on board. A larger SME may have lawyers. So that's another question that you're going to have to ask yourself is, what is your positioning? What is the customer base that you want to go after? My advice is going to be to go after enterprises and law firms where there are large numbers of people that you can replace so that you can deliver the ROI of your software. That's the whole game of legal tech AI. But But you have to
switch it.
also make sure that whom you're selling to is somebody who's not threatened by all this, who wants to do this kind of, downsizing and efficiency gain.
Right. In this scenario, probably CFO will be the one who's most interested or
But
open
CFO
to
cannot
discuss.
make a decision on, there is going to be a general counsel, right? And then,
Or general counsel, right?
General counsel. So you have to you have to sell to the general counsel, and the general counsel will have to make that decision. So have you done validation work with the general counsels?
No. Yeah, that's a good question. Because basically, at what stage we are now, right? We just launched an MVP literally 2 days ago. We built an MVP based on the feedback of our pilot users. These are law firms. They have general specialization, and they are serving startups and corporate clients. And the aim here was to build a tool that actually is useful and saves time and allows lawyers to save time on the research, and the interface is friendly enough for them to use it, right? And just today, I started, booking a couple of demos. A couple of lawyers booked a demo.
My advice would be, if you have an MVP, go start talking to general counsels at larger enterprises and try to get them to give you feedback and validate this. Because if I'm looking at this as an investment, as an investor, I want validation from the target market, not from random users. I want general counsels of 50 enterprises telling me that, yes, this is interesting. Yes, I want to use this. Yes, this is relevant to what I'm doing. So simultaneously, you could also look at law firms that do employment law, and you could get those law firms, the people who are in charge of those law firms, use this and give you validation that, yes, okay, this is valuable. Without that validation, even if they don't become paying customers yet, you have to get that validation before investors are going to be interested in this.
Mm-hmm. Right. Actually, you're the second person who said this. Yeah.
ASAP, do that first. You can't raise money without that validation.
All right. Thank you. Yes.
Welcome. It's interesting. I think it's going to work, but you need to involve the right people to not only say that they want to use it, they also have to give you the feedback of what they need in that product. You need to be talking to the right people to understand what they need in the product. So from a product, finding the product specifications, also you will need to talk to them.
Right.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you. I really appreciate this feedback. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Okay, let me explain to you how to use 1 million by 1 million in both the people who have pitched as well as the people who are listening. There are a lot of people listening to this presentation. 1M1M is a completely virtual program, so anybody anywhere in the world can use it. Go to 1Mby1M.com and you have access to everything. Our premium program is the full acceleration program. And this kind of interactive feedback, if that's what you are looking for, the kind of interactive mentoring, that's only available through the premium program. You can come once to the free roundtables like this and talk to me, but in the premium program, you can talk to me on a weekly basis. And you have access to the curriculum. The curriculum is where you will learn methodology. There's core curriculum, which teaches you stuff like positioning, validation, customer acquisition, team building, financing, bootstrapping, all these topics that you need to learn if you're a first-time entrepreneur in particular and have none of that background yet. It's essential that you learn that methodology. And what I was telling you, Vijay, about ideating with that methodology under your belt, I think you will ideate a lot better if you have that methodology under your belt. And then comes the second component of that ideation, which is domain-specific case studies. So in the curriculum, we have core curriculum, which is the methodology with case studies. And then you have the electives. In the electives, they are domain specific. So you have AI, you have e-commerce, you have cloud computing, you have online education, you have health tech, digital health, you have prop tech, you have, all these different subdomains of technology entrepreneurship. And those are great to kind of immerse in, to see what people are doing, and it will always trigger great ideas in your head. So my take on all of you, I think there are many people in the room today who are in that ideation phase. I would suggest go do the curriculum, the 1M curriculum, do the core curriculum, do some of the electives that are in your domain of interest, and your ideation is going to go much better. And if you have a job, please hold on to your job and do this nights and weekends. This is studying, right? You can study nights and weekends and get much further before you quit your job. Don't put that pressure of not having a job, not having a source of income until you decide what you're going to do. Start validating some of this. Like, if Max came to me earlier, I would have suggested this as well, is that, before you write the MVP, develop the MVP, go talk to 50 general counsels. And those conversations are going to be so valuable. You're going to learn so much about the real problems of the customers and what they need in the product, what are they willing to pay, and what needs to be in the product before they are ready to write that check. This kind of information is invaluable and essential for investors to engage with you. And, for you, if you're going to, the ideal scenario is that you build something that contains what is critical in the MVP so that you can get to paying customers as quickly as possible. Investors love nothing more than paying customers, because that is evidence that the market is responding to what you have to offer. And for you, if you're bootstrapping, paying customers is revenue. Revenue is going to give you runway. Let's say you talk to 50 people before you write code, and you understand what these 50 people are looking for. When you have your MVP ready, you go sell to these 50 people and you have revenues from these 50 people. That is the ideal scenario for entrepreneurs. This works mostly in B2B, but it could work in B2C as well. It depends on what your product is. E-commerce, for sure, you can do this mode of business building in e-commerce as well. So coming back to 1M, premium program is where you have the mentoring, coaching, strategy consulting, whatever you call it, this interactive sessions and the curriculum. And when you are ready, it's the premium program that you need to be introduced to investors. We work with thousands of investors, and you will be introduced to a set of them, let's say 30, 35 of those that are relevant to your product. There is this concept of investor entrepreneur fit. Just like you're looking for product market fit, we also have to find investor entrepreneur fit based on stage, based on domain, based on geography, based on all kinds of parameters that drive what is an entrepreneur, what is an investor looking for in an entrepreneur. So that's the investor introductions part, but please don't assume that just as soon as you join the program, I'm going to send you to investors. We have to work to make you fundable, and your pitch needs to be ready to be seen by investors. So that's premium program. You can also access the curriculum through basic, 1M basic. And that's a curriculum only. You don't get access to the interactive mentoring coaching, but you can start studying. That's fine. And we're okay with that. You can start with just basic. That's okay. So go to the website, look at what to expect from premium, basic. We do get requests for one-on-one consulting. It is not necessary, but some people are very, very hung up on privacy and stealth. So they ask for one-on-one consulting. It's available. It's much more expensive. It's $1,000 an hour, whereas premium is $1,000 a year. Basic is $99 a month. So in February, we have 2 more free roundtables. If you are just listening and are looking for a slot to pitch next time, you're welcome to book a slot in one of the upcoming roundtables. And there will be roundtables all through March, April, May, June. So, we are around basically. If you have questions about the program after we are done today, Irina Patterson is your contact, irina@1mby1m.com. You can talk to her on WhatsApp, Skype, phone, whatever, or exchange emails with her. She'll be happy to answer your questions. Okay, I am ready to take more questions if that's something that you are looking to ask. Anybody?
I have a question. Yes.
Yes.
May I? What would you suggest would be a channel for me to find those 50 general counsel
LinkedIn.
to talk to? LinkedIn. So just direct outreach.
Yeah, direct outreach. Right, I have to write a very compelling message explaining what you're doing and direct approach through LinkedIn. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Just needed to confirm this.
Yes.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
So actually, I've been since, as I mentioned, we've spent more than a year trying to raise funds, but we couldn't raise a follow-up round. This kind of feedback also came in that the market scenario has changed a lot, and now is not the time to switch back to raising funds. And so, what are your views on that now that you also know about the business scenario that we
You're
are
not
facing?
ready to raise funds. It's no surprise to me that you're getting rejections from VCs. There are pieces that we need to put together to raise money. So for the moment, my suggestion would be to adjust your mental set so that you are ready to bootstrap for a lot longer. And in the meantime, do the right things, put the right pieces in place, and I'll be happy to guide you. If you join the program, I'll be happy to work with you and advise you on a weekly basis and get you there. But you have to, you have to put the right pieces in place to be ready for funding.
Sure. I do have a follow-up question.
Yeah.
There's one more thing that has been, going around. So is location actually something that could change the scenario, at least in my personal
Not right
entrepreneurial
now.
journey?
Not right now. Not
Okay.
right now. It will make no difference. In particular, if your primary go-to-market strategy is going to be online, which I think yours is going to be.
Yeah.
You Shopify store, WooCommerce store, Wix store, etc. I think location will make no difference at all. I would suggest you remain as lean as possible, stay where you are, stay put, and just start getting the pieces ready to build the business, and then we'll,
Got it. Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Vijay?
Hi. Yes, Shama. One question. So I'm actually going to pursue this idea. So no matter what, thank you for the feedback. I really value it. No question. I have already worked on this for almost 2 years now. Bootstrapped it with more than 300,000 euros. And I have also an investor who is already committed for €500,000. But my other question is, I was a little bit taken away by the direct answer, like don't pursue this. I do have very positive feedbacks from, like you just said, who are going to be my prospective, let's say, vendors, also customer-wise and investor side as well. But I'm just now a little bit confused of what made you think immediately that no, don't pursue this. So just a bit curious about that. I have very positive. I'll just finish it up. The validation you mentioned about. I took 3.5 years to validate this idea.
How did
before
you
I even
validate?
started.
What is your validation process?
I spoke to literally as many drivers as possible who are running Ola and Uber right now in India. So because my first target market is India.
That's a wrong validation, right? Validation is customer validation. Vendor validation is not how you validate a business idea.
Yes, because my business model is also based on the vendor income. So it's
Doesn't
not
matter.
just only
Doesn't
from this one.
matter. Doesn't matter. If you cannot get customers to use your app, vendors will make no money whatsoever. Just by putting vendors on your app is not going to generate customers. What customer validation work have you done? If you ask me, would I use your product? I would say no, I would not. I use hotels.com. I'm not going to switch out of hotels.com. I'm very comfortable with hotels.com. I'm very comfortable with Amazon. There's no reason why. Do you have any idea why we use Amazon? Do you know why we use Amazon? Have you thought about it? You're thinking you're going to compete with Amazon. Why do we use Amazon? Why is Amazon so successful? Have you thought about that?
Yes. So they have been in the market for a quite long time. They are very user-friendly, the user experience, the product range. There are a variety of reasons for individual consumers, right?
No. One of the number one reasons for Amazon's success is Amazon Prime and their incredible delivery network. The speed at which I order something in the morning, in the afternoon, it's in my house. Do you have any idea what it would take you to replicate a network like that, to deliver value at that level? There's not a prayer that you would be able to compete with Amazon. To build that kind of a distribution network is ungodly expensive. No investor is going to give you money to build that kind of a distribution network. So
Sounds good.
You can pursue whatever you want. As I said right at the beginning, it is your venture. You can do whatever you want. But my sense is that you're going to waste invaluable years of your life. You've already wasted 3 years of your life. You're going to waste another 10 years of your life if you pursue.
Oh, that's so nice of you. No, thank you. So if at all I want to pursue this idea and I want to take your mentorship on this one, will you still be interested in mentoring me on this one?
I can't mentor you on this one because I will not be able to raise money on this idea.
I'm not looking for raising money at all. As I said in the beginning, I'm actually not looking to raise. I'm actually not looking for investments. I'm here for mentorship. So that was the major reason I wanted to be here.
Well, I would be happy to mentor you, but if you systematically ignore the feedback that I will give you, you will not get any value out of that mentoring. Right? So you would join this program to get value out of that mentoring. I mean, watch me, right? Everybody listening to this, I'm discouraging this person to join the program. I'm very happy to mentor every single one of you with one caveat, that you will listen to what I have to say. Don't join the program if you're going to ignore all my feedback. Then what is the point? Because think about it, you will have to get to a fundable state by working with me through this program before I'm going to take you to my investor network. And if you systematically ignore my feedback, you will never be ready for me to take you to investors. Right? So think about it. I'll be happy to mentor you. But if you decide you're going to join this program, please be aware that we will get nowhere if you discard my feedback systematically. Right?
Got it. Yeah.
Sure. I love mentoring people. I've been doing this for a very long time. We started 1Mby1M in 2010. We started these mentoring sessions in 2008. I've worked with hundreds of thousands of startups over the last 15 years almost, even before 1Mby1M. So for me, this is enormously enjoyable, interesting, intellectually stimulating, taking different business ideas and figuring out how to move that forward. I find that incredibly exciting. But it works, and I have seen this movie before where I'm giving feedback and the person taking that feedback is systematically discarding that feedback or not processing that feedback, not incorporating that feedback. And as a result, we don't make a lot of progress. So that is it won't be valuable for you to join the program if that's your mental set.
Okay.
But I think the thing is, you guys are talented people, right? Every one of you have interesting backgrounds. You have, traveled interesting journeys and come to this point where you are, starting a company. You're working on a company, you've already started a company and have made some progress. So there is an enormous amount of value that I can add to your process. And we've created all this curriculum, case studies. We have thousands of entrepreneurs, successful entrepreneurs who have helped us build this curriculum with case studies and so on. So it's, it's incredibly interesting platform where you can learn from people who have done it before, not just from me, but all these entrepreneurs whose case studies we teach and who have helped me develop this program. So it is an incredibly powerful program, but you have to use the program the way it's designed to be used. And that means that you're going to have to process and take this input and build your business based on the methodology that we are teaching here. And if you don't do that, then you won't get much value out of joining the program. It's a gym membership, right? If you join a gym and you don't do any of the machines are there, you have access to them, but hey, you're not using any of them. You're not going to lose weight. You're not going to get in shape. You will not develop any muscles. It's a classic gym membership analogy. Okay, anybody else? Questions in the room? There are lots of people. Let me see. I'm seeing comments there. Okay, Naman says it was valuable. Pabesh says valuable. Okay, great. I'm glad you're finding it valuable. You're most welcome to join the program. Vijay, you are most welcome to join the program, but please use the program if you join the program.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. Thank you.
I have time to ask one more question.
Yes, Max, please.
Yeah, so I'm curious, what's your opinion about competition on the market we are targeting? For example, Lexis or Thomson Reuters, they're building their products there. I've heard that Lexis invested 1 billion in developing similar system like ours. Luckily, we had a feedback from a few lawyers. They said our tool works better, but I mean, it's not I'm not bragging something, but it shows that we are capable of competing with them. Speaking about Amazon, to replicate the Amazon's business model is very expensive, and here it doesn't seem to be so expensive because we are delivering online. So what are your thoughts about the competition on the market?
If a competitive situation is a pure software competition, that can be done because often large companies are on old architecture, right? Right now, in the industry, there's a once in a lifetime architectural shift going on. There's agentic AI, there is LLM, there's all kinds of things that are out there that are not part of old architectures. You kind of need to re-architect solutions or write new solutions based on new architecture. These are golden moments for disrupting existing products. So in the case of Lexis, I don't know the competitive situation. We have to do the full competitive analysis and the competitive positioning, which is something we do very well actually in the program. But it has to be done to see whether you can compete with Lexis or not, and what is your competitive positioning and what is your defensible competitive positioning. Let's say it's pure feature level competitive positioning, then Lexis will be able to replicate your features. It's a matter of time. In 6 months, they will have those features. But is there something that is fundamentally different, especially architecturally different, or something that gives you more defensible competitive advantage? That is something that we have to look for. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Simon Govins, Romana, your advice is 100% on point, but many entrepreneurs cannot hear it because their mental model is so focused, nothing can penetrate because of investment bias. When I realized this as a founder, it changed everything, but it is so hard. Changing mental models are incredibly hard, Simon. Absolutely correct. So you are changing, especially fundamental mental models are incredibly difficult. I fully agree with you. Unfortunately, it is one of the reasons why so many entrepreneurs fail is that they cannot take advice and process advice. Investors often look for a trait in entrepreneurs, which is they term coachability. Coachability is if you getting feedback. You will get a lot of feedback. The more you talk to people, especially the more you talk to people who have a lot of experience, you will get interesting feedback. But if you cannot take that feedback and use that feedback and process that feedback and make the necessary changes in a nimble, fast way, then you will not be able to benefit from all that feedback that you get. And feedback is important to factor in and take into account as you go through your journey. This is why we have created so much immersion opportunity in the program, where the more you use the curriculum, the more you can immerse yourself in other people's journeys, and you'll learn a lot by kind of through proxy. You don't have to make every single mistake yourself to learn. You can also learn from other people's journeys. Case studies are incredibly valuable. Our entire program is based on case studies. Okay, well, I do hope that many of you are going to be in the program, and I will have the privilege of working with many of you going forward. So let's adjourn today, and I will see you next week. Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Very much. Bye.